comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling, cut the chatter. You ain't talking money, then your talking don't matter. Ching, ching, bling, bling, patent pockets. We take the dollar, dollar, can a damn soul stop?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Money in the Bank 2019 Instant Analysis for WWE. I'm your host, The Podfather. I'm joined on the line by a guy who successfully retained the Bullet Cast Championship, the Canadian Destroyer, Brandon. How's it going, man?
I'm doing fantastic. I used to be the Sasha Banks, but maybe I'm like the Alexa Bliss now.
Oh,
Because I can defend a title.
but
This is like my first successful title defense, and I don't know how long.
you're not 5 feet of fury there, though.
I'm 5'6" of fury.
Oh, hey now. I won the Bullet Cast in the Bank Briefcase second year in a row, so I guess I'll cash in on you at a later date.
Bring it on.
I will. But before we get into the Money in the Bank talk, I want to talk about Ashley Massaro. She unfortunately passed away a couple days ago. It's a rumored suicide. Don't know how true that is, but just so we can get it out of the way, so we don't talk about it too late on the next week's edition of the BC. What are your thoughts about Ashley Massaro and her career? She was with WWE from 2005 until 2008.
Honestly, I don't really remember her all that much. I was a fan. I watched. I must have seen some sort of segments and watched her on the Diva search, but just for some reason, she just doesn't really stick out or, makes me remember anything about her. I mean, she looks sort of familiar. She had that kind of punk look, kind of Lita-esque, Paige, AJ, kind of the anti-diva down back in that time. So unfortunately, sad news for her. She was going to be at StarCast this next weekend. And, shout out to all her friends, family, and everyone that has been affected by this.
Yeah. I was thinking about, buying that meet and greet. It was pretty cheap, just to talk to her for a little bit. She was that first punk anti-diva character in the Divas era of WWE. She won Diva Search, like you said. She left in 2008 to take care of her daughter, who is now 18 now, so that has to be unbelievably tragic for her to lose her mother at that young of an age. But yeah, Ashley Massaro, she had WrestleMania match, Mania 24. She had a really badass theme song. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed her character. R.I.P. 39 years old, incredibly young to pass away. Ashley Massaro, thank you for being a competitor in the WWE. You will be missed. All right, let's talk Money in the Bank. So the show kicks off with the official card. Bayley wins the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I gave it a B+.
I'll give it an A- just because my expectations for this match were so low. I didn't really expect all that much coming out of it. I thought it was a decent match, pretty good for what I thought these women could pull off. Very excited that Bayley won. I kind of took a flyer on her. I think this is kind of the reason why I am still champion, because I picked my girl Bayley. Even though I picked her to win, everything else that surrounded my pick of why I thought she was going to win didn't happen. I thought she was going to cash in on Bayley. I thought she was going to turn heel. None of that happened, but I will take the victory of Bayley being Mrs. Money in the Bank.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Money in the Bank. The match was fine. It was fine. Gave it a B+. Because there were some spots. I felt like the crowd was kind of getting behind Dana Brooke. I was like, okay, this is a possibility.
I still don't know why, but
Wow, Dana Brooke, how dare you?
yeah, I will shout out Carmella and Mandy Rose. I thought the injury angle that they worked in there was very well done. I thought it was real because Carmella really played it off as it was a shoot. She was angry at Mandy. She pushed her off. She's like, "Get off me!" And then they had the referee surround her. I was like, "Oh, she must have really messed up her knee or something." But then she comes back and they were trying to do the old rah babyface comeback, and it's Carmella. They're not going to get that type of heat behind her. But I thought the execution of the injury angle was very nice.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I did think Mandy was going to win it for a second with Sonya Deville helping her up on the ladder. And then Bayley was the one that stopped them. I'm correct? Yeah.
Of course, my girl Bayley pushed him off, said, "Screw you guys, you're going to win like that." And she got that briefcase.
She did get that briefcase. Shout out Bailey, because she's from the Bay. We'll talk about Bailey when it comes to later on in the show. All right, Rey Mysterio, the legendary luchador, goes on to defeat Samoa Joe and becomes United States champion. Grand Slam.
Yes, Grand Slam champion. What I've been reading on the interweb is that apparently the reason why the match was so short, not because of what happened at WrestleMania, but apparently they called an audible because Joe was bleeding profusely through the nose.
Oh, yeah.
Lot of blood on this episode of Money in the Bank.
Yes, if you go to the Bulletcast Twitter, you will see that that's not PG. That was an awesome looking visual, though. You know, red still equals green, brother.
I mean, I've said it many times on this podcast that I am not opposed to blood if done correctly and used sporadically. Not saying that if I would have booked it intentionally to happen like they did this, where having Lars and Samoa Joe and even Mustafa Ali had a busted up mouth. But sporadically in the main events, blood is well done. And even in this match, it kind of like wakes you up a little bit. Oh, geez, Samoa Joe's busted open. And then Samoa Joe's really good. It kind of reminisced me of back in NXT when he had that match with Finn Balor, where he seemed as soon as he got busted open, just the match kind of went to that next gear. But unfortunately, because of WWE's blood policy, he could never really get the match going because the referee had to keep stepping in and stopping the blood flow.
Yeah, maybe we won't have to worry about that with AEW. Apparently, with their TV deal, they're going TV 14.
That's fine. I mean, there's nothing really. You could say, okay, a move from PG to TV 14, that might sound like a lot, but in reality, what exactly can they do? Okay, there might be more sex stuff. Maybe there's more, vulgar language, but they're not going to go out there and have CZW death matches on AEW.
Absolutely not. I mean, we'll see. But anyway, going back to the Mysterio match, I gave it a B-. Thought it was fine. I thought Dominic was going to get physically involved. It did not, so I guess we're going to have to wait for that. Wait for Joe to choke him out or something.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought Dominic was going to get involved on Mysterio's side of things. The match itself, I kind of agree with you. Maybe a B-, maybe a C. It wasn't exactly much of a match, and it's kind of hard to grade a match that only went a couple minutes and was stopped short, so you can't really grade it fully just because it wasn't what they wanted it to be. But I mean, the beatdown afterwards, Samoa Joe seemed very angry. Dominic still is involved in this feud somewhat, so don't know where that's going to go. But it seems as though this feud is going to progress, at least on Raw or for the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, so maybe Dominic gets physically involved at a later date. Is that really the same kid, though? Because that kid is huge.
Some of us, unlike us, when you hit puberty, sometimes you grow a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, the kid's gigantic. He has tattoos. His drip is too hard. It's incredible.
Good for him.
Good for him. All right, moving on from that, the best wrestler in the world, Shane McMahon. You know what? He's so good. We opened the show with his music because here comes the money. He defeats Mike Mizanin in a steel cage match. Shane getting another one over Miz.
Yeah, another kind of fluky win for the best in the world, Shane McMahon. The match was okay. I think the reason why I kind of liked the Miz and Shane match so much at WrestleMania is because they used all the gimmickry and they were able to kind of just go all over the place. And it was kind of the best of what you could expect from them in the cage. They're much more confined. They have to actually be in the ring. And I thought they did an okay job. I think a B- is a fair grade. There was nothing spectacular. There was a few big spots in there. I thought Shane took a nice little bump where he kind of did his little up and over when he was on top of the cage before the whole fall through his shirt gimmick happened. One of many botches from the referees this show. We didn't even talk about Samoa Joe clearly having his shoulder up. That was kind of the first botch. Kind of the first botch of the night, as well as the referee breaking up a count when it's a steel cage match where there's no disqualifications, and you have the announcers screaming about it, so it's not like they're trying to hide the fact that that was a bad call. I just don't understand what the point of these. I mean, I'll give Samoa Joe one a pass just because it wasn't maybe planned and maybe Samoa Joe wasn't even in on it. I don't know, but the the Vince or the Shane one, that one's just bad. I don't know why I just don't him kick out.
I mean, the ref was worried about his job, so he called it. It didn't just make sense.
So I guess Shane's just going to win every single match now because the referee's in his pocket.
He's been on every single pay-per-view this year. I just realized that.
He's a workhorse, man.
Dude,
He's the best in the world.
Exactly. Like, he's worked more on pay-per-view than what Orton, Styles, and all these other people. Shout out Shane McMahon, you know. We'll probably see him at Blood Money in the Sand. But yeah, I give the match a B.
I mean, I like the match at WrestleMania. I think a little bit better. They had a little bit more antics and a little more things to work with because it was Falls Count Anywhere. So they just went all over the arena and did stuff. A cage match, it wasn't terribly, bloodthirsty. They weren't doing mega spots. They weren't like killing each other in there. So, but I think it made sense because this is going to be, I think, step 2 out of a 3-match process where maybe finally I don't know what you do from this. It was kind of a fluky way, so maybe we get Hell in a Cell with them, and that's how you finally get Miz's hands on Shane for real, and he beats him up. And I don't know. I was expecting some sort of run-in with Lashley and Elias or somebody. It didn't happen, which I was kind of glad to see. Just a Shane McMahon wins fluky, but it wasn't through underhanded tactics and even downgrading the credibility of the cage as well. Because a lot of the matches in recent memory have had interference in cage matches, and cage matches are supposed to keep people out as well as keeping people inside. So I thought they did a good job at that, at least.
Yeah. And, so yeah, maybe we will get Shane and Miz via Hell in the Cell or something like that. I did think Potato Face was gonna come out and smash the cage door onto Shane's head or something.
No sign of Potato Face, so maybe that means he's gonna show up at the next pay-per-view. I'm still waiting for the Shane and Vince versus Miz and Potato Face match.
Oh. That would be great. All right, moving on. The Cruiserweight Championship was finally on the main show as Tony Nese successfully retains the title against Arya Daivari. Gave the match a B. Thought it was very good. My boy Tony Nese busting out the Fosbury flop. You know, I don't like it when fans chant "This is awesome" after one dive to the outside, but I'm not going to lie. I'll chant "This is awesome" after a Fosbury flop. Love that move.
It's a Cruiserweight title match. I don't watch 205 Live. I'm pretty sure a lot of the fans in the arena don't watch 205 Live, so it's just kind of there. Get the energy up, do a few spots. It was good. I think a B is sufficient. I think that's a fine grade to give them. Nothing really too inspiring here. Tony Nese wins. Not a whole lot to say about this.
Not a whole lot to say. Moving on. All right, Becky, 2 belts. She goes on to successfully retain the Raw Women's Championship against the Southern debutante, Lacey Evans. Gave the match a C. It was fine. I believe Lacey was going for sliced bread number 2, and she messed up and just had to kind of turn it into a stunner.
Yeah, maybe not the... I kind of said on the podcast that maybe this is going to be a big match for Lacey's sake. She's been doing a lot of good character work, and the in-ring aspect is in question. I don't know if I would say she lived up to at least her character. It was okay. It definitely wasn't, a Charlotte Becky match. At WrestleMania,
Yeah.
everyone's rested and all that. What Charlotte and Becky could be, it definitely wasn't something to that nature. I think Becky kind of did her best to kind of carry Lacey along. I think it did make sense. I mean, I guess especially since what they did with Charlotte, but to have Becky be fresh against Lacey and kind of protect. I don't exactly know. It was okay, but Becky won in the end, so I can't complain. But then I did have a little bit of issues with what they did the next match.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. There were some spots in there where I'm like, oh, I don't think she's ready for this type of spotlight. But I don't know. The stuff outside of the ring is very good. She knows her character. It's just, she did have some bright spots in the ring, like when she hits that moonsault. But, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Lacey Evans in the near future. All right, so what happens afterwards is Charlotte Flair makes her way out to the ring, and she and Becky have their title match. I think the last time back-to-back championship matches happened when somebody had 2 championships was when Becky's boyfriend, Seth Rollins, defended the United States and WWE Championships in the same night, Night of Champions 2015. Yeah.
No champion has ever defended successfully 2 belts on the same night in 2 separate matches, according to Michael Cole.
Oh, wow.
And the streak continues.
The streak does continue because Charlotte Flair wins her 9th Women's Championship. She has the most women's world title reigns ever of any woman in wrestling history. Her daddy has the most world title reigns. You can believe the fake record, but we all know the real one, 21 times. So wow, father-daughter, most reigns as a world champion. That's pretty impressive, man.
I don't, especially Charlotte's record, I don't take that very seriously just because it's almost like the Dudley Boys record. You have it a bunch of times, you lose it a bunch of times. That's why I'm very proud of myself as a champion to continue my reign and to defend them successfully. Because I don't want to be like Charlotte or Sasha Banks where I have a bunch of title reigns, but I want to be Kazuchika Okada. I don't want to be Charlotte Flair.
Really?
I want to have that memorable, 16-month title reign that everybody is salivating, can't wait to beat me, but they just can't because they're not that good.
Look, you can want to be Kaz Okada. I want to be Bruno Sammartino. I want to run with it for damn near a decade, okay?
Touche.
Ah.
But I'm going modern era right now. Not living in the past. I'm living in the present.
I'm a purist. I'm a wrestling historian. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Anyways, back to the match. Match was fine. They teased a little bit in the Lacey match that Lacey was going after Becky's leg. I thought they played it up good. I thought what they were going to do is have Becky, run through Charlotte. Maybe not, literally run through Charlotte, but I thought she was going to be able to beat her. But they have Lacey come out, have her punch Becky in the face, have Becky with the fake roll-up almost get the win, but no, Charlotte ends up getting the dub. In the end, match itself was fine. I don't know if it's Becky being gassed, if it's a lot to handle, if it's the crowd was kind of dead for it. I think it is kind of asking Becky a lot to wrestle 2 back-to-back matches, especially with 2 such different opponents, with Lacey, who might be green, not the best wrestler in the world, Charlotte. I think Charlotte's overrated, to be honest, when it comes to in-ring. I think she gets carried a lot in her fantastic matches because she has Becky and Charlotte and Sasha and Bayley in those matches, and I think they're much better wrestlers than Charlotte. But we'll talk about that for another day.
That's a pretty bold take right there, buddy.
I mean,
I think
when's the last time Charlotte's had a really good match with somebody who wasn't a fantastic worker?
She's had them, okay? She's had them.
I mean, did she have fantastic matches? I mean, Carmella what was it? She was having pretty good matches with like Becky and whoever else was on SmackDown at the time. Carmella, maybe not be the best wrestler in the world, but anyways, back to this match.
These are some bold takes. Anyway, I gave it a B. I'm like, okay, cool, it happened. I thought when Becky did roll her up, I'm like, oh my god, she got her. Like, that was pretty quick, but it did not happen. Becky succumbed to the foot of the queen. But what happens after that, ladies and gentlemen, Bayley cashes in and she becomes the SmackDown Live Women's Champion. Lacey and Charlotte are going to town on Becky. Bayley's music hits, and she's just getting rid of Lacey. She throws Charlotte into the post. Charlotte takes a nice bump face first into the post, and Bayley's just looking at the briefcase. I'm screaming to my monitor, just cash in, what are you doing? She does. She cashes in. She goes up to the top, pomp and circumstance, elbow drop, 1, 2, 3. Bayley walks out of Connecticut as the SmackDown Live Women's Champion.
I did kind of feel as though Bayley was taking a little bit too long. She was just kind of hamming and hawing and just staring at the briefcase. And if you're going to do it, just do it. And I did think that Charlotte just getting rammed into the ring post and just being dead for it seemed as 5 minutes was a little bit unbelievable for her to be down for that long, especially since she was kind of so fresh beating up Becky.
I mean,
but
that's a steel post, man.
We that's a transition move in wrestling these days, unfortunately.
No, she took it face first, though.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right. But Anyways, the crowd was hot for it. They were chanting for it. They wanted it. I'm not going to put too much stock in Bailey going forward. I'm not going to say they're going to put a rocket on her and she's going to be super hot going forward. I think it's just in the moment. Fans want to see history. They want to see the cash in. So they cheered for her. I don't know where they're at on Tuesday, but I don't think the crowd they'll be hot, maybe not hot, but I think they're going to be excited and they're going to cheer her. I just don't think she's going to come out like, Becky Lynch the night after WrestleMania hot.
No, probably not. But congratulations to Bex. Get it done, girlfriend. Testify. Testify. All right, so coming up next, Roman Reigns is walking in the backyard, not backyard, because he owns the yard, in the backstage area, gets smacked in the back with an acoustic guitar by Elias. Elias goes out to the ring. He performs, finally completes a performance. Roman's music hits. Superman punches him on the ramp. Throw him in the ring. Ring the bell. Roman hits a spear. Ding, ding, ding. Roman walks out the victor. What are your thoughts?
I mean, hell of a match. Just Roman really carried Elias in that one. Definitely showed that he is the big dog and he is the workhorse of this division.
Absolutely. He's the big dog. God damn it. No, so where do you think we go from here with Elias and what Roman? Yeah.
I mean, Elias is pretty much where he is. He's always been in that kind of steady mid card, right smack dab in the middle. He'll get wins against lesser guys, but he's gonna always lose against upper guys. He's not gonna be treated seriously. He'll have maybe bigger matches with a Roman or a Seth, but he's always gonna lose. Have some squash matches with Apollo Crews when he does the wild card and no one knows he's on SmackDown. But I think it's gonna be business as normal. I wouldn't be shocked if we see Elias versus Braun Strowman, or I don't even know the other. Maybe AJ Styles, God forbid, if they do kind of have Brock and Rollins have some sort of feud going forward. But Roman SmackDown, I mean, it seems as though the wild card rule is basically the Roman rule, where he's constantly on both shows. Do you have Roman event? I think Roman eventually, by the time we get to Fox, is going to have that WWE Championship, no matter if the crowd wants it or not. I think WWE is putting Kofi over pretty good. I mean, I thought they portrayed him really well, but I just think in Vince's mind, when he wants to get many people, as many eyes on the product as possible, he's going to turn to the big dog and put the strap on him. And he's going to be the face of the company once SmackDown is on Fox.
You see, I had an idea for the WWE Championship once they hit Fox. If somebody else were to win the Money in the Bank that was on SmackDown, they cash in the first night they air on Fox. That was my general thinking. But that's not the case. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But moving on, Seth freaking Rollins successfully retains the Universal Championship against the phenomenal AJ Styles. Gave it an A+. Hell of a match.
I wouldn't give it an A+. I'd give it maybe an A, maybe leaning towards an A-, just because it's two of the best wrestlers to maybe ever live. I have very high expectations. I'm still leaving some room for improvement if they do have another match down the line. I really did like this match. Best match of the show, I think, in my opinion. It was booked great. It was wrestled great. It had basically everything you can wish for. Looking back on it, I would have much rather had this be the main event, but with what they had for that men's Money in the Bank, it made sense why they put it at the very end, because it was just a shock finish. But it was good. No heel turn from AJ, just straight up shake his hand, teasing it a little bit, which I think might be the right move. Maybe have AJ be a face for a little bit, and then maybe if he does cool off, or if something happens, if a heel goes down, you can always have AJ turn. But I would not mind to see these two guys wrestle again, but it was a pretty clean, decisive win from AJ, or from Seth, and who knows where Rollins goes from here.
Yeah, and there was no chicanery. I enjoyed it. The sequences in there were pretty good. That going for the curb stomp, transitioning into the Styles Clash, I thought that was beautiful. Yeah, if AJ does get stale, like you said, turn him heel, freshen him up. He didn't take him to Dick Kick City like you thought, but yeah.
I mean, I thought the match was maybe a tad bit slow at the beginning, but I think once they got to the later half or later quarter of the match, I think it definitely picked up. They started hitting their big spots, and that's kind of how WWE matches are at this point. They kind of are predictable to where nothing's going to happen the first 10 minutes of a match, and once they start hitting a couple big spots, then that's when you kind of sit up in your chair and like, okay, now it's time to really watch this thing.
Here, it'd help if I unmuted my mic. There we go. No, for the past couple of like big matches where workers are good, but the story doesn't really have anything, so they just rely on the match. Those matches do kind of disappoint. I didn't feel disappointed with this one. I was like, all right, this was fun. This was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, with these matches, sometimes we get too high of expectations, almost like AJ and Shinsuke last year at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I think this match was better than the AJ Shinsuke match. I thought that this was kind of a big match for AJ just because I've talked about it a little bit, that it seemed as though maybe he was slowing down. Maybe that's just him trying to work smarter, him not doing everything he can on Raws and maybe saving it for these bigger matches because he knows he can't just pull everything out every single night because he ain't no spring chicken in his mid-20s on TNA.
Yeah, well, he didn't look 41 here. He looked pretty good, man.
That's definitely a good sign because they're going to need him to carry lengthy matches, at least on Raw and probably on pay-per-view matches.
Yes. Well, speaking of pay-per-view matches, a pay-per-view match that I was very pleased with was the WWE Championship match from Kofi Kingston and KO. I'm just glad that the WWE title went on after the Universal Championship, so looks like we're putting some stock back into the WWE title. Kofi Kingston successfully retains against Kevin Owens. No chicanery, nobody got involved, nothing.
I mean, yeah, just pretty solid work here. I thought it was a good match. I think we probably could have seen the same match on a SmackDown or a Raw, but it was nothing too fancy. I think maybe they weren't supposed to steal the show or do anything crazy just because they were kind of sandwiched in to the behind, between the Money in the Bank match and the AJ Rollins match. So maybe not, a time filler, but I thought it was a good little decent match. As you said, no chicanery and no Sami Zayn coming out because he got killed by Braun Strowman. But it is what it is. Good for Kofi. Definitely, keeping him strong in terms of beating matches, having him win clean, no tease of anything with New Day. I don't know where we go from here just because SmackDown is so thin. There's the wild card rule. You can always have somebody come over from Raw and face him, but who exactly knows? As I said, I think eventually we're going to get Roman Reigns with the championship. Maybe after SummerSlam, but I think sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Kofi beat him with no shoes on. I felt like I was watching one of the Von Erichs down in WCCW in Texas, man.
A little throwback. Shout out to Viceland and their documentary Dark Side of the Ring.
Yes, I'm going to have to check that out, that episode. All right, so it was the main event. It was the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Whoa. You missed Lars Sullivan beating up 3 Mexicans.
Nobody gives a damn about that.
And he busted himself open because of Kalisto's mask.
Nobody cares about Lars Sullivan. I'm sorry, man. Nope, nobody.
I'm just trying to be a purist. We completely skipped over the pre-show. Didn't talk about...
You say you don't watch the pre-show.
I didn't watch the pre-show, but I know what happened. And you have the SmackDown Tag Team Champions lose.
It was non-title.
It was non-title, but you have them lose after just winning them, and you have them lose to the Usos, and the Usos are... God knows what they're doing with the Usos over there on Raw with the Revival. But anyways, let's talk about the very, very good Money in the Bank match until the end.
Wow. So Money in the Bank, here comes the money, yes. So the winner of Money in the Bank, it wasn't Corbin, it wasn't Orton or McIntyre or Almas or any of those guys. It was the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Lesnar swoops in after Sami Zayn gets taken out. Braun Strowman is ejected from the arena. Hunter gets rid of him because he thinks he attacked Zayn, so Strowman or Zayn's not going to be in there. At the last moment, at the last possible moment, who was climbing up the ladder?
That would be Mustafa Ali.
Ali was climbing up the ladder, and I was shocked, I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh! He just runs. Brock's looking pretty thin now. And he gets rid of Ali and he climbs up the ladder. Brock Lesnar becomes Mr. Money in the Bank. He made history tonight. He becomes only the third man in history to win a Royal Rumble, King of the Ring, and Money in the Bank. Edge was the first, Sheamus was the second, now Brock is the third.
And is he the first person ever to win Money in the Bank without ever being in the match? Probably.
No. I mean, if you want to be technical, James Ellsworth pulled it down, but
the win was credited to Carmella.
That's true. I think he is the first without actually being a sanctioned member of the match. Yes, but I want to talk to you. We got some fan mail that came in after the show. I want to read those on the show here real quick. So let's go to Twitter. Let's fire up the Twitter machine. Let's go to the boy Copenhagen Smith. Guys, where does WWE go from here with Lesnar as Mr. Money in the Bank?
Well, on Twitter, they basically said, watch out, Seth Rollins, because now it's whatever Monster in the Bank or Brock in the Bank, whatever
Beast
the hell
in the Bank, something
Beast
like
in the Bank, whatever their catchy corporate catchphrase is for that. So
Buy
it
the
looks
t-shirt.
it looks as though they are going to go with some sort of rematch with Brock and Seth at maybe they even do it in Saudi Arabia. I don't think they would do that. Maybe they would. Does Brock have a match yet for Saudi Arabia?
I saw a few days ago it was being advertised Seth and Brock for the Universal title. Card subject to change, but yeah.
So that would make sense if Brock is just coming in to do this match. He came in, he looked good, as you said. He had great facials. I don't know if it's just him trolling or if he was generally excited to be back and doing something, but I think I just don't know if they are going to put that much stock into this Saudi Arabia show to have a full-fledged, put a Money in the Bank match, Money in the Bank winner, a Money in the Bank cash-in, all that stuff into this, just because they're kind of tiptoeing around the fact that it's Saudi Arabia. They said Jeddah in the promo package with the commentators. They never said those two dreaded words, Saudi Arabia, but it would make sense for Brock to just cash in at the next available time because he doesn't really care. He doesn't want to wait around. He just wants to, just like what happened at WrestleMania. If he ain't last, he wants to be first.
Absolutely. I want to read the other DM. Came from your boy Hootie Who 420.
My boy Hootie Who.
Yes. I can cuss on here, so here we go. Are you fucking kidding me? Bray could have easily taken that spot. The pop would have been huge, but nobody. But no, fucking blood money in the sand interferes with Money in the Bank, all for what? A prince who is more corrupt than number 45. Piss off, Vinnie Mac. I can't wait for that piss ant company to kickstart the revolution next week and take over. Thanks for letting me rant, brothers. Wow, Hootie Who is not happy.
He's spouting off those hot takes like me and Charlotte.
Oh wow, yeah. So I do believe that Brock was picked to win Money in the Bank just so they could announce this for Blood Money in the Sand. And he said the prince is more corrupt than Donald. I was like, oh my god, these are some takes, man.
It's not exactly a fire take.
That's not, but I was like, oh. I like how he said number 45, referencing how we acknowledged Trump on the show. That was good.
Nice callback.
Yes. But, yeah, so, I don't know, man. Money in the Bank the past couple years, like, when Braun won it, I was not happy. I'm like, really, what? When Corbin won it, I'm like, okay, maybe he'll cash in successfully with Brock. I just want a successful male cash in for Money in the Bank. This is really one of the most exciting things WWE does do all year round, because just having that person wait around like Dolph did, you can have an awesome moment like that, or somebody can announce it early like RVD and still have a great moment, or just shock value, and we don't think they're going to win the world title like a DB or a CM Punk. That's why I love Money in the Bank. I just want a successful cash in for the men. That's all.
I mean, when this match was first announced and they had all their participants, I was kind of thinking, like, nobody really fit the criteria to be Money in the Bank winner just because everyone was kind of well established and it's more of a heel gimmick to begin with. I thought Andrade was kind of maybe the best fit for it just so we can get rebuilded. But if you don't really believe all that much in Andrade and Ricochet, if you don't think Drew McIntyre needs it to have, the big push he's going to get later on down the line, I would agree that maybe this might be I don't think it's a good look for WWE. I think what I've seen a little bit on the internet is a lot of people are kind of poo-pooing this just because, one, it makes no sense in kayfabe terms. Second off, you have a guy not advertised. He just shows up. He already has real life heat from the fans of showing up, getting money, and leaving and doing nothing. But if you are gonna just have the match, I mean, it's basically like you had your match, you had your spots. It was fun, but you didn't really have any. You didn't really know who you wanted to win, so you just have Brock come out there, get a shock value. But the crowd kind of popped initially, but then I think what they wanted was just Brock to come in and just like, we've already cussed, fuck everybody up on the show, and then just leave. But then he climbed up the ladder, grabbed it, and everyone was like, "What the fuck just happened? This makes absolutely no sense."
Yeah.
So who knows what the thinking was behind this? I assume this was planned the entire time since they announced this match.
I have been reading the thread on Twitter, and I believe this was planned about a week and a half, 2 weeks in advance.
So before it was, so they announced all the names, and then they figured out, okay, we can get Brock, even though they already had Brock for Saudi Arabia. There's just a lot of signs right now that WWE, Vince McMahon in general, is just maybe flustered and not doing everything coherently and just kind of throwing everything at the wall, hoping that it sticks. And not a lot of stuff is sticking right now.
Dude, man, it could have been Bray, man. That would have been awesome.
I still don't know, like, what is Bray's character? Is he a babyface? Is he a heel? Because if he shows up, if he did what Brock did, I think he's supposed to be a heel, but he would have got a massive babyface pop from that.
No, he would have had to show up in the sweater vest. Yowie, wowie! You know, that would have been hilarious.
We did get a yowie wowie chant after the sunset flip powerbomb onto the ladder. I did pop for that.
Dude, I've seen so many Twitter accounts yowie wowie. It's great, man. Bray Wyatt is an amazing character. I can't wait.
Shout out Bray Wyatt. Welcome to his son into the world.
Nash 6 Rotunda.
So shout out to him and JoJo.
Yep, I guess I'll take that off the script for next week and just throw it right on here. Yep.
There you go.
All right. So Money in the Bank overall, Brandon, what are you giving the show?
Overall, I think I'll give it a B.
Oh.
I think this had maybe a B minus. I think it had the opportunity to be a sneaky good show. I think the Seth Rollins AJ match by far was the best. I did like the men's Money in the Bank up until the finish. It was kind of spotty in a sense, but that's kind of how all these matches are. The men's singles matches were fine. The Becky stuff was okay. I think a lot of the stuff maybe met or maybe fell a little bit below expectations, but I did think the Seth match and the women's Money in the Bank match was pretty good and worth seeing. And the show, maybe it was just me because I didn't watch it live, so I was kind of fast forwarding through a whole bunch of stuff. So for me, it didn't really feel like it was like a super long show. Yes, it was like 3 hours and 45 minutes, which is still too long for a show, but the crowd seemed dead at points, but they weren't like WrestleMania dead.
Yeah.
Which I think helped out the show a little bit.
Yeah. Speaking of WrestleMania, WWE 24, Becky Lynch on her road to WrestleMania 35, becoming the champ, Becky 2 belts. Go watch it on the WWE Network. I watched it after Money in the Bank. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very well done by WWE.
I mean, Becky's a character. All those 24s and the WWE documentary on the networks are usually a good watch.
Yeah, you even get Vince McMahon showing up on screen telling Becky Lynch that she's the man and that he loves her. I'm like, oh, that's very nice.
Vince has a heart.
Yes. I'm not a cold-hearted son of a bitch. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here on the BC Money in the Bank Instant Analysis. I think we did a good job. Coming up Wednesday, I will be in Las Vegas. Brandon will be in the Bay Area still. We are going to be doing the BC on the line again. It will be to you Wednesday, Thursday, doing predictions for Double or Nothing because the title is on the line again next week. I'm looking to take it home, brother.
I mean, this is a very rare opportunity. We have a back-to-back title defense, but I was able to hold on to it through Money in the Bank. Hopefully, I can hold on to it through Double or Nothing. Under the Radar episode coming on Tuesday should go over last week's episode of NXT as well as Ms. and Mrs. And probably going to go through my itinerary for Las Vegas next weekend.
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, BC on Wednesday. Thank you so much. Ta-ta for now.
Power and money got me crazy cocky. No longer need you, Poppy. I know you're mad because you can't stop me. And if you wonder how this player done scooped your honey, I think she smell my cologne. It's called brand new money. Making major moves, man, ain't a damn thing funny. Pimpin' hood rats to Playboy bunnies. They see the.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.